Two older guys settling their differences at the grill in this one. We got Leonardo Santos, 18-4-1, taking on Clay the Carpenter Guida, who's 36-21, a guy who's been in the UFC forever. And the most recent time we saw him was just a few months ago. He had to take on the Olympian Mark O. Madsen, and he actually fought to a split decision in that one. A judge gave the fight to the Carpenter, and that to me kind of showed that Clay Guida still has some sauce left in the tank, right? I mean, Marco Madsen is on a tear, undefeated fighter, and Clay had his moments in that contest. I thought it probably should have been unanimous for Marco Madsen, but nonetheless, split decision and close on the judges' scorecards, which means way more. So he does also have that recent win over Michael Johnson and fought in pretty close competitive fights against Bobby Green and against Brian Ortega, although we have to scroll back a few years for that one. So he's taken on Leonardo Santos, 18-4-1. And last time we saw him was in March earlier of this year, fighting in a very close contest versus Grant Dawson, but he got slept by a meat bomb with 1 second left in that contest. And it netted him his only loss in the UFC, right? This is a guy who picked up hella wins before that one loss. He has wins over Kevin Lee, has wins over Adriano Martins, who one punch flatlined Islam, which is something to consider. So these are two older gentlemen, though, right? 41 years old is the Brazilian Santos, 39 for the Carpenter. So how you seeing this one playing out in this true battle of the vets?
Yeah, true battle of the vets nonetheless, and I gotta go with the Carpenter on this. I think the youth of him and his experience is going to get it done. He's one tough son of a gun, and I don't see Santos having the power to really put away a younger Carpenter. To be honest, I think he's gonna have the advantage possibly on the feet, but I know Clay Guida, he's going to make it gritty, make it rough, and throw him against the cage and take him down, or at least just smother him against the wall. And I think he's just going to dominate from start to finish. I think he's the better fighter, more experienced fighter, has harder competition, has gotten achieved better, and I think he's going to show why he's still, fighting for after all these years.
Yeah, right. It's like, what else do you have to prove, Clay Guido? You already are one of the OGs of the game and fought in just amazing contests. So it is interesting to speculate on what is driving Clay the Carpenter Guida. Maybe he's just trying to get, another dominant win. And if he were to do so against Leo Santos, that's pretty impressive because if we look over at Tapology, 75% is rolling with the Brazilian. Majority of it, they think is by decision, but there's a decent slab that thinks that the submission or the KO TKO is possible. I'm ruling out the KO TKO. I don't see Santos finding a way to finish the Carpenter. But you mentioned, we know that Clay is going to try and make this one ugly. Do you think it's advantageous for him to take this to the ground? I mean, we know Santos is a legit black belt, 6 foot, has that 5 inch reach advantage. Do you think it's better if Clay Guida maybe just pins him up against the cage, but doesn't necessarily try to go for that ground game? Or do you think the Carpenter has the advantage down there as well?
I think his advantage down there as well.
Hmm.
I truly believe that that the Carpenter is going to get it done, really wherever it is, in dominant fashion. Now I could see why people are going to go against him because of the height and the reach, but you guys just don't know Clay Guida if that's the case. I mean, this dude is an absolute savage. The fact that he's still even here and he's still fighting strong absolutely blows my mind. So I love that he's an underdog. I like the odds, and I like Clay in this one.
Yeah, I'm so torn because, most times I will shill for the Carpenter Guida. I mean, when he's, just headbanging devil horns in the air in a Pearl Jam mosh pit, it's a guy who's just very easy to root for. And I like your idea that I think Clay Guida's going to go in here, make it ugly, throw him up against the cage. And I think you use the word dominate or brutalize. One of those two has to go down because while we both clearly respect the talent that Leo Santos brings in this one, Clay Guida is a guy who's just coming in here, nothing to lose, and is going to find a way to just make this thing ugly, right? Because if he can do so, maybe cut up Santos early, give him something to deal with, something to think about. Clay Guida can get this one done. So for sure, I'm with you all the way. Perhaps it's a juicy meat value sake. We're both rolling with the Carpenter. I'm actually going to go with the Carpenter decision. You think he gets a finish?
I could see a decision most likely, but it wouldn't surprise me if he does get a nice juicy finish for the boys. Would not surprise me. The dude's a savage, and he's going out there to absolutely bang out with the head down and the arms flailing like a mosh pit.